Hi guys, how are you? And I hope you're doing well in this course, and welcome to this new lecture about the graph editor. The graph editor will allow us to manipulate speed within 2 keyframes and adjust it almost the way we would like, but we are going to do this through a graph. We can also use numbers. Let's see how it works. I'll create a new composition here, call it a graph, for example. That will do. And we don't care about the time, the dimension is okay, we click OK. Let's take one of our green guys, take it and drop it here, and create a simple animation using the position. I press P, keyframe the position, come after 2 seconds, and take the guy, press Shift, and move it to this side. Cool. So now we have a totally linear animation in terms of space and in terms of time. If I select my keyframes, right click on them, go to keyframe interpolation, you will see they are both linear in space and time. Cool. Now, how do we get to the graph editor? To get to the graph editor, you need to use the graph editor button here. And if you click on it, you are presented with the graph editor, but nothing is showing. This is because the graph editor requires you to select a property, for example, position. As soon as you select a property, it will show you the keyframe and the graph of the speed. Since the speed is linear here, then it will just be a straight line. You can see the straight line here. Nothing magical about it. Now let's look at the options that we have here. The most important here is the magnifying glass. You should always try to highlight it. The magnifying glass will always try to zoom all your graph inside as the height is concerned. So if you pull up, it will zoom out. If you pull in, it will zoom in. If you remove, for example, and you pull out, you notice it's not zooming in, it's just stable. Sometimes this is very good, but if you pull in, then you know that your graph will disappear, it doesn't show anything. Let's pull it back, you notice it has zoomed back in. This is very important that you always have it highlighted so you can see your graph. Now let's look at the other properties. From this side you have the eye, and the eye says show selected properties. Now I've selected position and it's showing me the selected property position. If you check show animated properties, then all the properties that you have animated, such as scale, rotation, position, all the graphs will be showing for all the properties that have been animated, and that will be somehow too much to look at. So ensure that show animated properties is unchecked for now. Now let's go to the next one. What graph are we looking at? If you come to graph tab, you have several options. First, auto select graph tab. This is very useful later on when you know exactly which graph you are dealing with just by looking at it. Then we have value graph and speed graph. These are the two graphs that we are going to work on, and they are only graphs, by the way. Now we are in speed graph and we want to stay there. The value graph is not very relevant for position, but it's very relevant for scale, for example, and also rotation. I will choose the speed graph. Let's select a keyframe here, and now the icons here can be used. The first one, the diamond, if you click on it, you will find options that are similar to when you right click on a keyframe, and you can see toggle keyframe, keyframe interpolation, and so on. Fine, I will select the keyframe again. Here we have the convert selected keyframes to hold, and then selected keyframes to linear. Be careful, it's selected keyframes, it's not all the keyframes. Then you have the auto bezier, then you have is and is in and is out. Cool. In the next lecture, we are going to start recreating the is in and is out and trying to modify the is in and is out to have a speed that is fit for our animation. I'll see you then.